Hello, good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. It is Friday, the final day of January. That's what it is. Final day of January here, year of our Lord 2025. We're rocking and rolling on a Friday. You got to love when it works out beautifully like that, where you get to change over to a month on a Monday. Been kind of an up and down type of January, if you ask me, in small cap land. Not necessarily from the gappers perspective, even though those are up and down all the time. Just from what we've gotten from the market, I feel like we've gotten some scaries out of the overall market. So it bounces back. We have a new president. We had some insane runners to start the year, and we had periods of dormantism, which is a word, of course. And we're ready to rock and roll, figure out this last day, and then head into a new month, a new week next week. Welcome in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're rocking and rolling every single day that the market is open. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8:45 a.m. and then 9:15 a.m. on Wednesdays for a little bit of live trading, as well as Wine Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. If it takes me that long to say it, we're here often for free on YouTube for you. Hit that subscribe button for us. Hit that thumbs up button as well. Get us up towards 50 likes. Get rocking and rolling in the live chat as well. Saying a lot of rocking and rolling. That's what we're doing, I guess. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Anything you want to say, comments or concerns. We will respond to comments. And any tickers you have questions about, any daily charts you want us to peep at, be happy to do so. But as always, we're going to start with the gappers. How we doing, Huddie?
Good morning. We're doing good. We're rocking and rolling. It's a Friday.
Yeah, rocking and rolling.
Everyone's excited for Friday. End of the month, new beginnings. One door closes, another one opens. Let's
Wow.
get on to it.
Philosophical. Get the Marcus Aurelius book out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Welcome in Wayne, Dark Trades, Max, Eric, Chris, Throne, 123 Drummer Max. Get in there, get in the live chat, have a good time. Hit that thumbs up button. And let's get going with the biggest gapper of the day. Drum roll, please. TCTM, which is TCTM Kids IT Education. Boring name. Boo. Out of China. This looks sketch. 3.26 million float. Guesses that there's no news. Look at that. The only recent news is that they've received their receipt of regarding their minimum bid price. And that probably is because it's below $1. And it was at 20 cents before this morning. No news. Low across the board except for cash need. They do need cash. But they got they got a January 2025 shelf with 1.3 million raisable amount pending effect. So that's not even active. But it's out of 85 million. Okay. And it's kind of, when you look, I feel like whenever I see these, it's either a real company or a complete scam when the historical outstanding share and potential dilution is like the same across for the last long period of time. Hasn't moved, hasn't changed. So we got China vibes with TCTM Kids IT Education to start the day. Looks like it ran from 35 cents up to 70 cents, a little 100% mover a couple days ago. What is that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Monday. Gave it all back, and here we are kind of bouncing back into that resistance. Looks like it was 11 a.m. Looks like a pump. It dumped it right back to where it came from. Beautiful little mountain. And it's faded even lower since, down towards 18 cents. What do you think, Huddy?
Well, I think this is our first small priced gapper of the week. Right? I don't think we've seen any 20, 40, 50, 60 cent stocks
What
this
was
week.
OCEA?
Oh, I guess
It was
counted. I wasn't there that
sub-dollar.
day. All right, so we got the sketchy Chinese stock. It's gapping up, not a whole ton of chart history, just all the way down at the lows, and now gapping up for some. You know the reason? Was there news?
Nope.
Yeah, so just a random gap up.
And no news on Monday when it ran either, when it ripped and then died completely. So probably some sort of chat pump or manipulation, something.
Yeah, we got some sketchy Chinese ties. We got a random stock just gapping up on a random day. Cash need is pretty high on this stock, and they have a pending effect on their offering. So maybe the
Is that
intention is
much
to,
though?
I don't know.
I just don't. I'm trying to learn. Okay.
All right, let me pull it up.
1.3 million, but it also says the total shelf is $85 million. But if it's pending, how could it have been used?
I doubt 85 million's been used.
That could be raised from the
Yeah,
shelf.
I think in order to unlock some of that total shelf capacity, they have to have a higher float or market value of the float. So a price to exceed baby shelf is $16.98. So in order to be able to dilute to the full capacity, they would have to get their stock price over $16, maybe 17 if we round up. I think if they get their highest close above 89 cents, they also unlock some capabilities, their highest 60-day close. But for now, yeah, even if they do dilute from these price ranges, they can only do up to $1 million. But and with a quarterly cash burn of 6 mil, yeah, that's not too much. But it's a sketchy Chinese company, so who knows what they do? Who knows if they're even a business?
I don't know, I was just reading their thing. I'm trying to figure it out. They're doing a lot of things. Coding, computer, robotics, targeting students between 3 and 18 years of age. That's their target market. Yeah, there's not a ton here. I think it kind of can be boiled down to China, lowish float, no news, and some resistance from the other day at 70 cents, where even out of nowhere, it couldn't sustain itself for even a little bit. That spike was immediately met with straight back down. It was up in the above 65 cents for milliseconds, and then by the end of the hour was back down to where it came from. So not a great history of holding up. Could have been just a little blip that they're trying to trap you in with and be like, oh, this short anything because it's coming straight back down, and then they hold it up and it's doing 200 mil. Could be, maybe. Still wouldn't be something I'm all interested in being bullish on or buying because of those negatives. And when those cancel out enough, well, there's really no positives. So it's just up a lot. That's its only positive. And up near 40 cents right now. So kind of away from that 70-cent resistance right now. But would expect that anyone who did get stuck bag holding that, which is possible considering how fast it came back down, this would be your exit type of day. And so unless it is churning out hundreds of millions, it's probably going to be difficult for it to sustain itself. But it is a Friday, biggest gapper of the day, and 3 million float. So it's pretty cheap, though. You got a wonky hair. All right. Next biggest gapper of the day, TDTH.
This is sketch too.
These.
What the heck's going on here?
This is Singaporean. There also is like nothing going on here. Trident Digital Tech Holdings. No way. There's news. Nope. 18 months of cash. I don't even have like the bars at the top that give me insight of what's going on. They don't really have anything going on in terms of dilution, it looks like.
Whoa, no bars.
No bars. 18 mil float. That's about all is worth on that page. They got 18 months of cash left, I guess. What happened yesterday? I don't know. There's no news. Is there any filings? I don't know.
IPO September 10th.
Huh?
IPO September 10th, it seems.
Yeah. Done a whole lot of choppiness on its way lower, down towards $2. Yesterday had... what does this intraday look like yesterday? Is my extended hours on? Really weird yesterday. Just kind of dumped into the end of the day. Kind of bouncing back right now. Where did we close? We just ended up closing at the lows yesterday. So this gap is kind of indicative of the fact that we just kind of bounced off of that low. I won't look at this. It's up 70%, but it's a kind of sketch. 18 million float. Nothing going on the dilution tracker. Had a super volatile day yesterday for what appears to be no reason. I don't see any sector that looks like it's relationing to anything. What do you think here? Just a weird one?
I mean, just a recent IPO, not a lot of data to it. Definitely a weird one with whatever happened yesterday. That's a weird candle. And then to be gapping up after that is also weird. So I think in general for me, like I like to personally ignore IPOs. It's not really what I trade all that much. So if it's part of your strategy to be trading IPOs, then it's interesting, but it's not for me. I generally ignore these.
Yeah, it's hard to continue talking about it because it's a weird one. It's not something where I'm like, oh, I have a massive edge there. It's fresh, it's brand new, it's downtrending. You got a weird day yesterday. You have no catalyst, no ties to anything. It's foreign, it's Singaporean. I don't know where I'm looking to go. Oh, that's exactly what I should do with it. I think it's just a bounce off its lows because it closed at the bottom of its panic yesterday, and now it's opening higher. No clue where this goes today. And okay with not knowing. If you told me I don't get to find out, I'm okay.
It's strange.
Strange. Throne says we just hit New Year. Now the whole month is over. I feel like trading sped up. Time for the user. It certainly can feel that way. You think about it like if you track your stats at a daily basis and you're putting them in, you're doing extra work on the monthly basis, and it's like, wow, 1/12 of the data is already in there. And it's kind of doesn't feel like that. It feels like we're just getting going, just getting started. But those hot markets seem to happen really quickly, and all of a sudden months go by, and I feel like those slow markets sometimes feel like a turtle in the snow, like a turtle on ice skates, if you will. Right, Heidi?
Yeah, I feel like the first 2 weeks of January went by really quickly, and the next 2 weeks were like horrible.
Yeah. Been an interesting one. Okay, we'll take some questions. I don't see any more big gappers that are mouth-watering or life-changing. SGN is the next one. I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a second. I want to let you guys know that we are doing an in-person Bootcamp in Los Angeles, March 22nd through the 24th. If that interests you, if you want to come hang out with us, if you want to see some amazing presentations from guest speakers, talk trading for 3 to 4 days straight, you can find more information on that at clovertrain.io or link in the description. You have up to the date to get your ticket. We'll also be doing some raffles, giving away some tickets here in February as we get into February. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. And keep an eye on our socials for the raffle as well. If you want to be involved in that and get yourself a free ticket, sometimes you got to do stuff with the socials. So make sure you're following us everywhere at iClover Trading. Mark says, Dom, does SLXN interest you? And would YIBO still be on your radar for first green day? SLXN, let me see, is more of a no. I don't know if it was after hours or pre-market, but the day of its big top day, which was starting to get interested from an overextended perspective, into the threes. They did some offering down at $1.35, I think, and we're holding up a lot higher than that. I generally don't like buying first green days that are caused by dilution. I feel like I need to look into that more because I feel like there's just very often we've been seeing the ones with dilution that still bounce back significantly. But just in general, this isn't like the best opportunity. In the smaller ranges, like it's good percentage wise, but dollar wise, it is tough to maximize great risk reward here just after one red day. And it's pretty much just a sideways day after that, after hours drop. Like what's best case scenario? 220, 230 up towards 270 or 280. There's like meat there, but if the risk reward's not tight enough, it's kind of a stretch. It doesn't seem easy to make versus something like DWTX that was on my list from earlier this week. If I knew how to type, where there's more room for error, it's down significantly further off its highs, down 29 to 9, and you can find a risk. And the risk reward wasn't great there; it was like $1 or something, but what it ended up doing was giving you $10 a share reward. So Matthew says Selexin exercise warrants for 3 million proceeds. If that's the case, and I don't know if Huddy wants to dive into it or not, maybe it's over. But still, from a technical perspective, it's not a great situation. I've been trying to be better at waiting for multiple red days to really open up that range. That way it's easier in terms of risk reward, just because it is generally not a pattern. If you look at my stats from last year on them, where you're ever going to make a type of breakout type of risk reward where you get 10, 15, 20 to 1. 3, 4, 5 to 1 is a really good situation on first screen days. So, but I won't be watching that this morning for a buy, even if it does bounce back. Maybe it ends up being a breakout candidate next week because we're not that far from the highs. But for this morning, I'll leave that one alone. And why IBO was the other question. If we woke up this morning and it was trading like as much volume as it did yesterday in pre-market, kind of around green red, I'd maybe be interested. But this day one is super sketchy. China and goes from 3 to 20 and then straight back down and closes at 3. A little weird, little kind of like alarm bells going off. Doesn't mean it can't bounce, but like, you look at what Holo did recently after its big move. They dragged this thing right into the dirt and never had a bounce. So I'm not sure if that's the case with Weibo, but for again technical reasons, volume yesterday was what, $3 million volume. Not really what I want to see. In Gritani's second DVD, he talks about I think $7 to $10 million volume the day before is kind of optimal. So if we're below that, it's really dropped off a ton. Don't be afraid to chime in ever, Huddie, if you have anything either. No, it's not your forte. Huddie, TCTM is a penny. What is the lowest price you trade? Is there not a minimum?
There is not a minimum. There is not a minimum. I will tell you that the fees relative to the price of the stock start to get a little bit more costly in the cheaper, like sub 20-cent range, and you have to be specific about which routes you're using to get in and out of the stock and make sure you're not racking up fees that way. So that's kind of the biggest difference. But like some of your 5-cent stocks that gap to 20 are like your worst freaking stocks. And so, for me, I'm looking for percent gains, right? So if a stock's going to go from 20 to 10 in a day, like I want to be there for that. And I don't care if it's 20 cents to 10 cents or $20 to $10, like it's still 50% to me. And I find the ones that are in the 20-cent area are super dilutive. They have some good data, not as robust, but have some good data about them. And I think a lot of traders stay away from them because they think they're too cheap or they, think there's too much fees. But, with the new routes that have come out on like the direct access brokers, relative to the profits that I'm making off of them, the fees are insignificant. So I don't really have a limit, although I think my broker might come in and like slap my wrist if I was like looking at a 5-cent stock. I don't think that, like, I think I do have some type of limit. I just don't know where it is. And it's not every day that I'm faced with the decision of shorting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-cent stock. So it's not really something I think about. I think it's more like when it's in the 15 to 20-cent range is where it starts to hit my radar. And those I don't shy away from. A lot of them are like delisting in 3 days. A lot of them have so much dilution, right? That it's just like, what's the most recent one we had? Acon? Oh, reverse split. What do you know? Never mind.
What is the ACON?
Yeah. But they did a reverse split. But you can see just like, I don't know, 3 days ago, 5 days ago, they had a gap up from 4 cents to 7. And 3 days later, it's back down to 3 cents. Like it's 70% off the highs, right? Like that's how I see it. And that's good money. I like 70% in 3 days.
For Rizzle.
Just got to be a little careful, right? Like the cheaper the stock, like, yeah, the stock can really open up. There could be some crazy range. We saw FFIE go from 4 cents to $4 in 3 days, 4 days. So just like any setup, like as long as you're cutting the losses and you're very aware of the fees that are going to come with shorting cheaper stocks and you know which routes to use, like I think there's good data down there to be bearish and not be bullish. But of course, every now and again, there's going to be one that goes crazy.
Yeah. All right, 9:18. Got to get over to the room. Someone did ask about SGN. Is SGN already up too much for reversal? Yes. So. I don't have a hard number where I'm like dead set on like 20%, 30%, 40% if it's like unplayable, but 60% definitely is that number, and it's just based off of I feel like you hear Huddy say a lot on first red days, like. What do you expect from the move? Is it like a 20% pullback, 25% pullback? And if we're opening at 28% down on the day, like, is that the smartest thing on the planet Earth. And I kind of feel the same way about first screen days, where if the move I was looking for, and let's just pull this up so we can see all of it. Where were we consolidating yesterday? Down here in the low twos or mid twos. Best case is probably into this high day, into this support back here to become resistance, which we went exactly to 430, 440, 420. And we're opening there. That's where I would have been happy selling if I was in from 220 or 230. Yeah, it doesn't mean it can't go higher, but it's kind of too far too gone now from, I'm not a super stats based trader, but feel like buying where you're supposed to be selling is probably not going to work out super well in the long run. And sometimes I feel like these are the ones that go the furthest. If you have less longs involved and it's less crowded and it's opening up there, there's potential for more movement, maybe into the low to mid fives. But as far as my pattern is concerned, it's kind of already come and gone, unfortunately. All right, 45 likes. If anyone wants to hit that on their way out, that'd be great. Kind of a slower looking day, slower end to a slow week. Wrapping up a month though, where, I would have been a lot happier if I finished the month last Monday and just kind of let the last 2 weeks and maybe went on vacation or did something. You never know that until it's in hindsight, but I was right around at my monthly goal until the last week, where I just kind of donate a little bit each day out of boredom. But ready for February, ready for new opportunities, going to continue to sit back, wait it out, wait for the best opportunities. There were setups this week. It's just about, can you don't have the margin for error like you do in hotter markets, where you can just screw up on 3 and still have 1 or 2 to bail you out. Right now it's all about focus, prioritizing the best setups, and sitting back and waiting for things to pick up and speed up. But we'll do what we do. We'll head on over to the Clover room. We'll have a great weekend. We'll see you guys in February at 8:45 a.m. Monday morning right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. Huddie, tell them what Marcus Aurelius would say.
Have thyself a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
Sounds good, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next one.